Hello everyone and welcome to Shelf Space. I'm your host Ross13 and today we are looking at the Uraven Gundam from Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise. That's right, the wait is finally over. I've gotten a hold of this kit and built it and I'm showing it off to all of you guys. I know it's been a long time coming. I had built the other planet system stuff and you've probably been wondering where the heck this guy is. Well, it's here now. You can stop asking me all the time. Not that any of you have really been asking me all the time. Anyway, before we start taking a look at the figure, let's go ahead and take a look at the box. So we got very cool illustration of the Uraven with its big gun, and then we have illustration of the Core 2 in its bot mode, and then we have the armor in its Core Flyer mode. It should be noted that this thing has a different version of the Core Flyer, so that's kind of cool. It says, Uraven Gundam, Hiroto's mobile suit. All that stuff in Japanese. Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise logo. The HD Build Divers Re-Rise logo. Blue Bandai symbol, YouTube stuff. On this side, we have write-ups about all the different stuff it can do with nifty photographs showing the Core Flyer, the Uraven armor, the Core Gundam 2, the leg sensor units, sensor bits. Heck, you can even combine it with the Earth 3 armor if you want. Then over here we have the same illustrations as before, plus all the information, 023, Blue Bandai logo, BandaiHobby.net. Then on this side we have write-ups on the mobile suit and the series itself. Specifically the second season or second half of the series, which was really good, guys. You should check it out, and you should also check out the live stream reviews that Shoki and I did over on the Shoki Reviews channel. Lots of good fun there. Then over here, all the usual warning stuff, and why do they do this? It doesn't make any sense. It looks ugly. They should either include the end price or center this. It's not that hard. You just take the arrow tool, you click on it, and then you nudge it over a little bit. You don't even have to properly center it. You could just do it by eye. It would look... Anyway. On this side, same illustration as before, and the bluefin sticker. But that's enough of the box. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual figure. So we're going to start off with it in the Core Gundam 2 form. So no armor, no transformation, just the Gundam itself. And it looks pretty snazzy in this form. It shares a few parts with the original Core Gundam, but for the most part they have done a nice little redesign on it, given a lot more sharp angles and kind of a slightly layered look to things. And it looks pretty cool if you ask me. Even the beam sabers have been changed up. Now I don't have a regular Core 1 Gundam to compare this to, but I do have the one for the Anima Rise Gundam. So this guy is virtually the exact same as the regular Core 1 Gundam, except the V-fin face, and we have this thing sticking out, so the backpack is a little bit different. So as you can see, the Core 2 has extended shoulders, the chest has been redesigned, even the torso. Basically everything except for the joints, and even then some of those, has been redesigned on this thing. But it's still kind of the same game. But it's pretty neat to have these two next to each other. Alright, let's go move on to articulation. So articulation hasn't changed too much, but we'll go ahead and take a look at things real quick anyway. As you can see, the head is a lot different. Instead of having this sort of more traditional Gundam style face, it's a little bit more similar to maybe something you've seen like 00. And the head crest is vastly different too. It's not a bad look though. Head is still on a standard HG double ball joint. That allows for pretty decent movement, full rotation, everything that you've kind of come to expect. The shoulders, standard HG ball joint butterfly, though the butterfly joint is going up and down as opposed to forward. But with the way things are set up, you still get pretty decent reach around there. And you do have a bicep swivel, but it is scary tight on this one for some reason. Then double jointed elbow for very nice bend. Let's see, and they didn't add any real... I'm sorry, they did add a little bit of ball jointing in the chest, if I remember correctly. So you do have a bit more of an ab crunch going on here. And then rotation that doesn't get affected by anything. Down at the legs, you can kick up pretty decently if you pop around the armor. And almost broke something, so better be careful there. Single jointed knee. That doesn't allow for a lot of bend there, but it does become a double jointed knee for the combined form. And then interestingly jointed ankle that mainly allows for the transformation, but still gets you pretty decent range. So yeah, like the other core Gundams, this guy has pretty impressive articulation for something of its size. Oh yeah, and his beam sabers can rotate up and down depending on how you want them positioned. So yeah, I am digging this so far. Now let's go ahead and take a look at all the fun accessories he comes with. In this form, he has two main accessories. You got his beam rifle, the same one that comes with basically all of the core Gundams. And then this part right here, which is primarily the base of his flying unit. You can put the handle in his hand to act as a shield, but it doesn't really do a good job. There's no proper shield mount on this guy, so it doesn't work very well there if you ask me. But what you can do is maneuver some parts. Try to make sure everything gets in there snugly. And then you can pop this back here. And there you go. This is actually how he has it mounted for most of the anime. So it's going to stay like this for the most part. And I think it doesn't look too bad. It'd be nice if there were some proper hinges and, I don't know, swivels or something like that. So that way this thing could properly transform. But it is what it is, and it works pretty darn well. Some other accessories that he comes with are some extra hands. Though these are primarily for his armored form, but they will work in this form. And these ones, I think, are actually molded all in one piece, so you don't have the problem like we're seeing here where the thumb part keeps on trying to separate from everything out. We also have a nice little expressive hand. This thing that is in is the stand for the flyer, which we'll get to in a little bit, which, as you can see, is a lot thicker before to accommodate storage of these things. You do have part of the original shield, but not the rest of it. And he does come with the SB9 beam saber set with the really long flat beam sabers and the really short flat beam sabers. And it's basically the same ones that we've seen all the different core Gundams come with. These ones are pink. I think some of the other ones come in different colors that sometimes match the jewel. So it would have been nice if they came in this sort of bluish green, but they didn't for this one. Whatever. Then there is the big accessory, the main thing for this Gundam. And that is this thing. We have the Uraven armor in its sort of flying mode. Now, this thing is a little bit different from the previous ones we looked at. This one, instead of having the legs kind of going off the back, they have them going off the side, kind of like wings. Shoulders are positioned a little bit differently. And it's just built a little bit different from the others. So it's a bit of a refreshing change of pace. If you all remember, one of my main complaints about the other Planet System Gundams is that they all become very samey very quick. And I suspect if once I build some more of the of these armors, I'll probably still feel the same. But these ones are made different enough that it should be okay. So yeah, this is it in its flying mode. It doesn't look like it would fly very well if you ask me, but it's still kind of neat looking, so I'll let it slide. Swoosh. But as you can see, it has all of his armor components and even his big gun in position, and it looks kind of menacing, to be honest, especially knowing what this thing does in the anime. One of my favorite scenes from that season was when he has this and he launches off this cannon into the Alice Earth 3's face, and then he connects this beam rifle into it and fires literally point blank into the thing's face, just blowing it apart. That was an amazing scene and just absolutely loved it. All right, let's go ahead, get this thing broken down and get the armor ready. Oh wait, before we take a look at the armored form, we should check out the other cool thing that this thing can do. And that is, this thing can transform. It has its own little core flyer mode. And that's pretty darn cool. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that off and detach this. Next, we're going to rotate the fist like that. Rotate the legs around at the thigh. Then we're going to point these down. Next, we will bend the arms. Lift a leg up. Bend at the knee and rotate the foot around. And I'm kind of amazed just at how simple this is, but how, well, effective it is. So, return that back down to that position. Take this and put it up here. So we get everything all closed up. We're going to rotate this so it's like that. And actually, if I remember correctly, this works better this way. And we're going to rotate the head around. So it's still kind of a faceplant flyer, but it does a pretty good job of it. Bring the beam sabers down. Just make sure everything is clearanced. Then we can put the gun like so. And so yeah, it's not like the most impressive thing in the world, but it gets the job done, and it's a nice compact little flying thing, and it feels very swooshable, and it feels solid. It doesn't feel like it's gonna shake itself apart or anything. I dig it. I really dig this flight mode. I actually had it stored like this for a little bit before I was able to do the review, because I just kind of liked it, and it takes up a little bit less space like this, to be honest. So yeah, that is super cool, I think. And I almost think it's a shame that the original Core Gundam didn't do anything like this. And I also wish they had found some way to incorporate the part of this transformation into the Uraven armor itself, but sadly, that's not the case. Okay, for real now, let's go ahead and take a look at the armor. All right, so let's start getting this guy transformed. Okay, so we're going to get him all straightened out. We're going to pop these hands off, set them aside, because we're going to replace them with totally different ones. In fact, let's go ahead and do that now. So we'll put these in here. And I think, yeah, they're basically just a little bit bigger than his standard hands. Oh. We'll go ahead, put the fist covers on here, like so. Set that down. Okay. Get the feet on these things put into position. Then just plug them in like so. So like all the other ones, he's got a hole right here and a peg that corresponds to it in the leg. And just kind of snaps into place. Now he's getting tall. All right. So next up, let's go ahead and get his back skirt armor on. And the front skirt armor. These are always a little tricky to do. One and two. Flip that back down. Make sure everything's in place. Okay. Looking at the instructions to make sure I don't miss anything. All right, so pop those hands off because I was silly and forgot that I need to do these first. And then we pop that in and pop that in. There we go. Make sure the legs are positioned so that this guy can stand nicely. Okay. Now we're gonna pull his shoulders out to their full extension, or pop the shoulders out of the socket, whichever works. That one's being tight on me. Okay. So we're going to slide this under and over. This part is always tricky. There we go. Can you see why I don't like undoing these transformations? Then we just put this on over it to basically secure it in place. Then we repeat the process. There we go. Almost got them all rigged up. Okay. So we'll go ahead, give him his new V-fin. Let's start putting on his new shoulders. Get those rotated into position. We're going to put this back into backpack mode. Just got to make sure everything stays in securely. Then we plug this into his backpack. Put this on top. Ooh, now we've made him a little bit back heavy. Okay. And the last step is his gun, which we take this, plug it in there, and then let's see. This part comes in over here. At least it's supposed to. Not getting a good connection on this. One moment, folks. Got it. Okay. We're going to take this white part off. Plug this into his hand. And then we're going to make sure I have this oriented correctly. Plug this part into here, and then this part onto his arm. And that gets a nice secure connection. That ain't going nowhere. Unlike this backpack, which is not wanting to stay in to save its life. Not sure what's going on there because I didn't have much of a problem with it. Wow, everything is messing with things too much, I guess. All right. So here he is, all armored up. And he looks pretty darn cool. He's just very back heavy, which is part of the reason they include a stand for him. So you can just pop him on like so. And now he's not going to fall over all the place, but he is going to get his head off camera. There we go. And for the most part, the armor feels like it's staying in pretty secure. But there are some things that are feeling a little loose and wobbly. So I'll have to think about that. I am very happy with how secure this gun is. I was worried that this was going to be some basically just super heavy thing that was going to be problematic. We can extend the barrel out, and he does have a handle here, so you can have him hold it like that. There's even actually a corresponding handle over there, so if you want him to switch hands. And that's actually a cool little detail to throw in there. They didn't have to make it ambidextrous, but they did. For right now, he's staying pretty stable. The shoulders are a little loose, but that's common with this system. The part that I'm having the most trouble with is the backpack. This part here just doesn't want to stay on. For whatever reason, its connection to the port in its back is just not working very well. But fortunately, there's an easy solution. I just put a little bit of blue tack in there, and now it ain't going nowhere, at least not for right now. So something to be aware of for that. But he looks pretty darn cool like this. I'm really digging it. Let's go ahead and take a look at what his articulation is like now real quick. So his head still remains the same, though you do have stuff around to be careful with, and you want to be careful with how you manipulate the head because you don't want to pop the new V-fin on there. But gotta say, the new V-fin looks pretty cool, and I like the way it sort of hugs the translucent gem there. That's a super cool look. Shoulders are about the same, but you do have all this extra junk to be mindful of. And as I said before, the shoulder pad parts are at least a little bit loose on mine, and that's kind of common, at least for all of the Core Gundam Planet System stuff that I've messed with. Elbows are double jointed still. You lose a little bit of the bend because of the extra armor, but not too much. You have the ab crunch still, but it has been restricted thanks to the armor. And you do now have a double jointed knee thanks to the way everything transforms. So, pretty cool figure. He does have some drawbacks that just kind of come from the nature of his gimmick, but I dig it, and I think I could give this a recommendation. But before we wrap everything up, let's go ahead and compare him to some other kits. Here's the main comparison that people would want to see. This is him next to the Earth 3 Gundam. And he actually stands a little bit taller, interestingly enough. I guess the way they built the legs adds on to his height there. And here he is next to the grandpa. So still standing a little bit taller. And I won't worry about putting all of the Planet Gundams in one shot this time around, mainly because I know I can't fit all of them in frame. So we'll skip that for right now. When I get some more armors, I'll probably do another shot like that. But yeah, overall, I am happy with this. There are some things that you need to be aware of, though. The armor can be a little bit loose on some things, and that backpack just isn't working quite right now. I don't know if that's because of how I had it stored for a bit and basically it just got loose or what, but yeah. Oh, you can reposition these things, and you can even take them off and have them fly around. Same with these parts here. But yeah, I think I could give this a recommendation. You just gotta be aware of the little foibles that this thing has. So, yeah, that has been a review. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. Check the description below for links to my storefront where you can get official shelf space t-shirts and more. And yeah, thank you again, and I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.